Okay, here we are inside of Adobe Premiere Pro, and what I'm going to do today is show you time remapping inside of Adobe Premiere Pro CS3. So time remapping, it's the new tool that's been added. It's not in CS3, and I think previously you'd only be able to find this in something like Adobe After Effects. But anyway, time remapping, what is it and how do we use it? Well, time remapping, simply speaking, is a way of speeding up and slowing down footage inside of the same clip. Now before, what you'd have to do is go to your clip and go to speed and duration and then speed up and slow down the footage from there. But what it didn't allow you to do was to speed up and slow down footage throughout the course of the whole clip. So if you can imagine, we've got a piece of footage here which is a very long explosion. It's 20 seconds long, and what we might want to do is focus on the most dramatic or the most impactful intense moment inside of this particular explosion, and then let the rest of it just run at normal speed. And the way to do that is to go to your time remapping up here, twill down, and make sure you've got the toggle animation stopwatch selected. You can twill down again if you want, and I'll come back and show you what that means in a little bit. But if you come down here to the clip and go to time remapping speed, it will mean that this yellow line that you see throughout the course of the clip relates to the speed of the footage. So you can speed it up and slow it down. As you can see, it then speeds up and slows down the footage. So there we are at 317%. So if I played that through, that would play through very quickly. Or what we could do is slow that down to, well, slow it down to 1% if we wanted to, but slow down to 27%. It will slow down, and you can see that explosion going very, very slowly. And it actually means the length of the entire clip, as opposed to a 20-second piece, we're now up to, 1 minute and 10 seconds pretty much. So that's what time remapping does. It enables you to speed up and slow down footage. So let's just bring that back to 100% for now, and set up some keyframes and see what we can do with this footage. So at the beginning here, we can make that go, say, about 200%, and at that point there we want to maybe slow that bit down, and then whoosh, the rest of that we want to speed up. The first thing we need to do is actually break up this footage and cut it open, if you like. And the way to do that is very simple. We just have to add a keyframe. So up to this point there, I want to run at a different speed, so I punch in a keyframe there, or I could punch in a keyframe here. It would mean exactly the same thing. As you can see, it adds a keyframe, but it's not like a normal diamond keyframe. It's a different kind of keyframe, and I'll explain what those mean in a moment. And I want this explosion, this little bit here, to run just a different speed. Just going to click another keyframe in there, and I want this bit to run at very fast speed. So now that we've broken this up into three, instead of when we move this line, it moving the whole clip, it will actually move the piece that we're currently in. So if we're at this piece here and we were to say move up to speed up, it only speeds up the bits that we've broken up. So it only speeds up this first chunk here. It doesn't speed up this piece, it doesn't speed up this piece here. I'm just going to zoom in here maybe just to make this a little bit easier to see. Now we're going to go on this second piece here and push down. So click with the mouse and push down. And let's slow that down to say 50%. And this piece here, which is the last piece, the very slow explosion piece, let's make that 1000% maybe. So really, really fast. So now we've got a piece of footage which was 20 seconds long. It's now less than, it's just over 3 seconds. So let's have a look at that and see how that looks. So starts off fast, slow, and then whoosh, speeds up. Very simple effect, and that looks pretty good. And let's maybe slow this down a little bit more. So instead of 50%, let's slow that down to, say, 25%, just by clicking and dragging downwards. So that's even slower now. So fast and then slow and then fast again, super fast. Okay? Now what we can do with these keyframes is we can actually drag them and pull them apart. It's actually easier to do this inside of your effects control window. So inside of the effects control window, what this enables us to do is, as opposed to here we're at 150%, I'm just going to use the arrow keys here just to kind of go forwards and backwards. It's gone from 150% here to the next frame, which is 25%. So it's almost an immediate and abrupt change. What we want to do is to be able to add some kind of a curve in there so it gradually slows down, and then when it gets over here it will, as opposed to go from 25% of normal speed to 1000%, we want it to gradually speed up, or at least speed up over a few frames of animation, as opposed to just one frame like that. And this is very easy to do. What you have to do is grab the piece or the side that you actually want to extend and just pull it across like this, and go to this piece here and once again pull it across. See, there you go. After a little bit of grabbing and pulling and playing around there, it's slowed down gradually. So we've gone from here 143, well, 150%, it's gone to 143, 119, 80, 45, 26, and then 25, and it stayed at 25 for a few seconds, and then 29, 55, 98, 157. It's gradually speeding up there. So although it may not seem like much, for the viewer, the person actually looking at this, will notice that you have slowed that down just there, just for a few frames of animation, and then whoosh, you've speeded that up dramatically there. So let's play that through. Get this over here, make this a little bit bigger. Let's see where we are. So didn't seem like much, but once you render that out, it will be a noticeable difference, I think. Now we can move this across, of course, should we need to. Just by clicking and dragging that over there. There we go. So we've got a nice curve there that we've played with. So we can make that last just that little bit longer there. That's good. So click, slow, and then whoosh, speeds up. So it lasts 5 seconds, which is just about the right kind of time to focus on something special like that. So bam, slow, and speeds up gradually. That's really nice. And this is what these curves are. They show a gradual increase in time, or a gradual increase in speed, as opposed to, like I say, an abrupt change, like you're flicking a switch to suddenly have very, very fast speed. That's really the benefits of that. If you wanted to just have something, and I'll drag this piece of footage down again, if you wanted to have something which was an abrupt change that would just change from speed to speed to speed, if you don't want to have time remapping and play around and create curves and so forth, what you can do is just take your razor tool here and just slice the footage up. So find the bit which you want to have the explosions, to say that piece there, slice, move forward, slice, go back to your selection tool and right click on the individual segments of footage and actually have that at different speeds. So have that at, say, 150%. Click on this piece here, have that at, say, 25%, then click on this piece here and have that at, say, 1000% of normal time, and then just link all the pieces together like so. That will actually give you that slow and then whoosh fast effect from there. Let's play that through, have a look. And then whoosh, like so. So those are your two options for speeding up and slowing down. Obviously time remapping is the Tech 2 way of doing it. It's the new way of doing it inside of Adobe Premiere Pro CS3, and I recommend you have a play with that. And as you can see down here in the time remapping, the timeline, we've got this nice curve that's occurring here, and if you want to have an equal impact on the curves and the way that they curve out, you can highlight both keyframes. You can see it's moving, it's making these the same. These curves that you see here, these Beziers, we can make those dramatic changes the same, which is just an interesting way of playing with keyframes inside of CS3. Anyway, that's time remapping, and two different ways that I've shown you there of speeding up and slowing down time. But I think you'll agree that time remapping is something that's worth playing with inside of CS3. And if you've got Vegas and you're watching this, I don't know why you're watching this, but if you do have Sony Vegas and you're wondering how to do this, I'll probably do a tutorial on it, but I don't think there's much of a need, because there is a tool inside there called time velocity, and if you activate that inside of the main video track, just like you would with the motion blur, you can see that it's a fairly straightforward way of speeding up and slowing down the speed of your footage over the course of a single clip. Last thing I want to say is that, as you can see here, the changes that we've made to this piece here have not affected any one of these pieces here. So time remapping is something which will apply only to the clip. It won't apply to the whole of your video track, just to the individual clip, which is a very, very nice way of just keeping the time remapping to particular elements of your EVE Online film. Anyway, there you are. Simple effect. Have fun, play with it, and I think once you've got the basics of that, you are, once again, good to go.